Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Justin Caffrey. It means a lot if you can like and subscribe and support this channel. My aim is to produce free content for those people who are not able to work with me on a one-to-one basis. So it means we can share some of my research and learnings over these past 10 years. What are we talking about today? I'm going to talk today about our nervous system, the fight and flight response, and how it is a terrorist that will hijack us and preclude, prohibit, prevent our capacity to live in our lives, to be a participant in our lives rather than to be stuck on the outside, stressed, overwhelmed, and unable to participate. I'm here in nature, in this wild field, because we know the benefits to your microbiome in your gut can be found by communing in nature. So that's part of what we need, time in nature. But let's just think about fight and flight for a second. It's a really good system. It is designed so that if you're under threat, if you were being pursued by an animal, if a wild dog escaped and went to attack you, you would immediately make a decision to run or potentially fight the dog. You would then need all of your cognitive functions to switch off. So the really smart part of your brain, your executive function, turns off because A, you don't need to recite the workings of Shakespeare. You also are not going to think about which is the shortest route from where you are, because it's just going to take time and energy. And in this situation of fight and flight, the body's all about conserving energy and sending it directly to where it's most impacted, the muscle tissues that need to fire to make you move. So you're in the primal brain. Your only options are run or fight. And as you do that, other things happen physiologically in your body too, which is really important. So you don't really digest food at this point. So any food that's moving in the colon, in the gut, if it's in the bowels, it will just kind of stay where it is so that we can focus on the movement needed. But no need to digest food. Also, your immune system, it doesn't need to be on. It goes on to a standby mode at this stage because right now it's focusing on the need to run, the need to fight, so it conserves energy. So the immune system uses huge amounts of energy in the body. It doesn't need to procreate. No need to be sexually aroused when you're threatened. So that system turns off too. So if you ever noticed when you're hyper stressed, it's unlikely that you'll also feel sexually aroused at the same time. So that switches off. The need to eat, hunger dissipates. That switches off. And actually, all of the kind of main organs go onto standby as well. So liver and kidney, etc., all switch off, which is fantastic because for those 5 or 10 minutes, you need to spring into action and you need to be able to deal with the impending threat. And then when the threat goes, you may have to deal with some cuts or gashes on the body because you've been scrambling to get away, or you may have been attacked by the animal. So the immune system turns back on again, the body goes into healing mode, and you start to rest and recover from the threat. So its nervous system is homeostasis, is in the center, nice and balanced. Fight and flight is when we're in that highly stressed state under attack, when we're in that highly stressed state under attack, and then we go into rest and recovery to heal so that we can go back to balance again. Now the problem is for many people, and especially the types of people who are watching this content or who come and work with me on a one-to-one basis, maybe there's something inhibiting your capacity to be absolutely present. And it's a variety of things. I will have executives and professional sports people who are suddenly not performing at the level that they once were. So they're not putting the ball in the back of the net as consistently as they once were. And that's one end of the spectrum. Or for others, it's just life has become incredibly overwhelming and I can't cope anymore. So what we'll look at is what's happening and what's got you into that fight and flight state. And there's exercises that we do in order to resolve that. And one of the best exercises, if you want to try it on a regular basis every day, is called the hand pressing exercise. I'll put a link in this video. Also, you can just Google it, Justin Caffrey hand pressing exercise, and you'll see the video and you'll see all the comments. Especially if you're feeling stressed, it's a good way to start regulating the nervous system. And we use breath work, but we also use coaching modalities. So we kind of unpack what it is that's limiting you in terms of why is this fight and flight response on. And often the fight and flight response is on because it's been triggered by a relatively recent event. But in my experience of working with clients over the last 10 years, the relevant event is almost like the straw that breaks the camel's back. We want to understand, why does the nervous system believe that it should be in fight and flight? Because when we go back in time, we find triggers that have actually put the nervous system into this kind of almost always on mode. Okay, so it's not fully fired up, but it's low grade anxiety, just slightly ticking away under the surface, and then an event happens and it becomes more acute. Another event happens, it becomes more acute, and another event happens, and then it's on kind of all the time. And this is really important. So when we kind of unpack the key things that have triggered it to get it to the point where it's always on, we're then able to enter into a space to understand what those events are, how they related to you, and what's here for you. And principally, getting close to those events is key. So we work on coming to terms with the event. So it's really important to understand that when your nervous system is in a fight and flight response, you are likely managing a recent problem that looks like historical problems, and your nervous system has become a little bit out of sync, and it's diagnosing more acute events on a regular basis as the fight and flight, as the dog about to attack. It starts to feel like everything is an attack, and people around you will trigger you, family will trigger you, the news will trigger you, social media will trigger you, because you're in that always on state. You were already in low grade anxiety, then it became medium grade, and now it's higher grade. So if you're stressed, if you're not performing at the level that you once were, it's really important to know that the neuroscience is with you on this. People who are in a fight and flight state will have 60% reduced cognition. So when I run workshops in companies, we're focusing on helping the employees understand that through simple understanding of their own physiology, through simple understanding of their own diet, nutrition, movement, exercise, they can actually stop this from happening, and they can dramatically increase their prefrontal cortex cognition. They can improve their immunity, their health, and their mental health, and ultimately reduce days off sick, increase the bottom line to the company, but most importantly, increase their own bottom line. Get some time back, reimagine your life where you are experiencing what's going on. Like being here in the meadow. Yeah, is this really effective use of my time? It is, because I know that if I down-regulate each day, just for a little bit, and I spend some time in nature, I'm going to become and sustain a healthier mind and body. So check out some of my work on nature, cold water, breath work. Search it all up on YouTube, loads of free content, listen to some of the guided meditations, but most importantly, if you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and you want to get better, just start to slow down first. Then you will be back to high performing. But as high performance clients all the time say to me, I can't do that. And I say, well, then keep going and wait till you have a complete breakdown and then come back. So take some responsibility, lean into it, slow down. You have this, you can do this. Human beings recover, replenish, and revitalize all the time. Please like and subscribe, support the content. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm Justin_. cat-free, check out the website, yourbottomline.com, where you can work with me on a one-to-one basis or with corporates. Have a great day. Get into nature.